No worries. Monique whirled on Angela. Never, she began in a hushed voice full of suppressed rage. Never, ever, ever say anything like that. Weren't you paying attention in orientation? Never say you think a plane is going to crash. Never say a plane could crash. Never even use the word crash. Do you understand? Okay, Angela whispered. Sorry. But some small rebellious part of her brain was thinking, I didn't use the word crash. Weren't you paying attention to me? And if a plane really was going to run into the building, wouldn't SkyTrails want its employees to warn people? To get them out of the way? Just as rebelliously, Angela kept watching the plane parked at 2B, instead of bending her head back down to concentrate on her computer. Monique? She said after a few moments. Should one of us go over there and help the passengers unload? Deplane? She was proud of herself for remembering to use the official airline-sanctioned word for unloading. Beside her, Monique rolled her eyes. The gate agents responsible for 2B, she said in a tight voice, will handle deplaning there. Angela glanced at the 2B counter, which was silent and dark and completely unattended. There wasn't even a message scrolling across the LCD sign behind the counter to indicate that the plane had arrived or where it come from. Nobody's there, Angela said stubbornly. Frowning, Monique finally glanced up. Great. Just great, she muttered. I always have to fix everyone else's mistakes. She began stabbing her perfectly manicured nails at her computer keyboard. Then she stopped, mid-stab. Wait, that can't be right. What is it? Angela asked. Monique was shaking her head. Must be pilot error, she said, grimacing in disgust. Some yahoo pulled up to the wrong gate. There's not supposed to be anyone at that gate until the Cleveland flight at 9:30. Angela considered telling Monique that if SkyTrails had banned crash from their employees' vocabulary, that maybe passengers should be protected from hearing pilot error as well. But Monique was already grabbing the telephone, barking out orders. Yeah, Bob, major screw-up, she was saying. You've got to get someone over here. No, I don't know which gate it was supposed to go to. How would I know? Do you think I'm clairvoyant? No, I can't see the numbers on the plane. Don't you know it's dark out? With her free hand, Monique was gesturing frantically at Angela. At least go open the door, she hissed. You mean the door to the jetway? Monique said, pointing. Angela hoped that some of the contempt on Monique's face was intended for Bob, not just her. Angela imagined meeting Bob someday, sharing a laugh at Monique's expense. Still, dutifully, she walked over to the 2B waiting area and pulled open the door to the hallway that led down to the plane. Nobody came out. Angela picked a piece of lint off her blue skirt and then stood at attention, her back perfectly straight, just like in the training videos. Maybe she couldn't keep track of standby codes, but she was capable of standing up straight. Still, nobody appeared. Angela began to feel foolish, standing so alertly by an open door that no one was using. She bent her head and peeked down the jetway. It was deserted, and turned at such an angle that she couldn't see all the way down to the plane, to see if anyone had opened the door to the jet yet. She backed up a little and peered out the window, straight down to the cockpit of the plane. The cockpit was dark, its windows blank, and that struck Angela as odd. She'd been on the job for only 5 hours, and she'd been a little distracted. But she was pretty sure that when planes landed, the pilot stayed in the cockpit for a while filling out paperwork or something. She thought that they at least waited until all the passengers were off before they turned out the cockpit lights. Angela peeked down the empty jetway once more and went back to Monique. Of course I'm sure there's a plane at that gate. I can see it with my own eyes. Monique was practically screaming into the phone. She shook her head at Angela, and for the first time, it was almost in a companionable way, as if to say, "At least you know."